Hi, Ray here. Ever wish you had just a little bit more workbench space in your garage? A workbench that wouldn't take up very much room? If that's of interest to you, stick around. I'm going to show you how I made this workbench. If you like the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. I do most of my projects either in my garage or down in my basement. I don't have a lot of room in my garage, so I don't have the opportunity to put up a big table that I can work on. So usually what I do, and you can see by all the paint and so forth on here, is I've got this kind of heavy duty plastic table, and I'll bring it upstairs and I'll fold things out and I'll set it up, and when I'm done with it, I put it away. It doesn't take a lot of room. It doesn't take up a lot of room here in the garage. It doesn't take a lot of room up in the basement. The biggest problem I have is when I decide to do something out here in the garage, this darn thing seems like it's always in the basement. When I decide to do something in the basement, it'll be right up here in the garage. So as I was working on a project the other day, I just got fed up with it, and I said, you know what, I just need to make myself a bench that I can fold down and fold up so it's out of the way, but when I need it, it's there for me to use it. So that's how I came up with this. So I'm going to go over for you very quickly how I made this, and honestly, I just made it from scratch. So I just looked around what I had in the garage and said, okay, this will work. It's not the biggest work table in the world, but it's a big enough work table that I can just quickly put it down and do things with it. It's held up here just by this simple arm. These legs fold down. The table comes down, and there you go. Now I've got a little work area that I can work on. Looking at this from the underside, you can see that I just made a frame. It's just a U-shaped frame here that has pocket screws up here that hold it to the top. And this was the structure that I would put my legs on. The legs are attached by 1/4-inch bolts with washers, go straight through the frame here. And you notice I sort of rounded this off because it has to be round for the legs to be able to come up and down. Attached to each one of these legs here are these extra blocks. I'll call them a stop block. And the purpose of those are that when you're folding your legs down, it'll hit the table right there and stop it at a 90-degree angle. So it's just a little extra support to make sure that that leg doesn't go too far and want to move around on you too much. So that stop block just works like that. So to mount this on the wall, I used 2x4 that is mounted into the studs, wall studs, on both sides with 3.5-inch screws. On top of that, I mounted a piano hinge. The piano hinge is just a long hinge with several screws in it, and then mounted the board to the piano hinge, and then the piano hinge down here is screwed into the 2x4. You can get these piano hinges in various lengths. I happen to have a 4-foot length laying around, and I just cut it to be the size that I needed. Now, as I mentioned, this entire project is just made out of scraps. So this board here was actually a large cabinet door from some old custom-made cabinets that were taken out of my daughter's house. And it was just too nice a piece of material for me to see it get thrown away, so I brought a couple of them home. The legs are just made of 1x3 poplar that I had some extra laying around. The frame up there is also made out of some 1x3 poplar, and the little stop blocks are just a couple of 1x2 pieces of pine that I had laying around, and the same with the piece here, the latch to hold it onto the wall. So a great project, just use scraps. It's kind of cool to be able to have some place to just quickly fold it down, do some work, put it back up. The other thing I did is I made it it's the same height as my workbench is behind me here. So if I have a piece that I can lay across, I can do that and have a little extra room. The last thing I took into consideration was that I wanted the proximity of this to be somewhat close to my workbench. So if I'm working on a project and I need screws for that project, I can just turn right back around there, get the screws, and continue with my work. So I've got a nice little area for setting my tools, screws, whatever I need to be working on during the project, and I can just quickly get them and move back and forth. So I hope you found this of value. I think it's kind of a great little project. It took me, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half to do this. And that was kind of figuring out in my mind how I wanted to do it. There are some videos out there to show you how to do this. You have to take in consideration what your own particular circumstance is, what size bench you might want to have. But the idea for this one, I remembered a video I saw, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago from a gal named April Wilkerson. And I think her channel is Wilker Do's. Great channel. She does some awesome DIY projects. And from that memory, I was able to construct how I wanted to do this. And it came out pretty well. So, hope you liked the video. Please like, subscribe, and comment below if you've got some better ways that I could have done this. I would like the feedback. Thank you.